Hey everybody, Natika here with Sophisticated Intuition. How's everyone doing? Love and light to everyone. Greetings. Like, I know it's a very powerful time that we are all experiencing right now, and I have been trying to get my material together for this next episode, and with all of the energy it was I couldn't keep my focus. I was meditating, I was doing my reading, and I just couldn't keep my focus because as an empath, and I'm sure that any empath that is out there right now is probably experiencing the same. We in normal circumstances, we're able to kind of transmute energy that we are exposed to, right? So when we're dealing with people, let me get comfortable here because I'm going to be talking about this. So when we're exposed to negative energy or even high vibrations, like, I went to a gathering with my people not too long ago, and one of my loved ones was like, as soon as I walked in, she was like, "Oh, it's a lot of energy in here, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but it was a lot of love. It was a lot. It was very high vibrations. It was a celebration for a lost loved one, and I could feel that energy the moment I walked in the door. It was amazing. It was beautiful, right? Well, same thing when the entire world is experiencing what we're going through right now. So I know that there's empaths out there that are having the challenge of transmuting that energy and shifting it into something that is more productive. Okay, so I was having a hard time collecting my material, so I'm freestyling tonight, just speaking on the topic that I've been trying to get together. So it was so the topic is transcending the ego, and that's just a fancy term in the enlightened world for getting over yourself. And I think it's really appropriate at this time because a lot of what I have been exposed to is a lot of ego. And when we think about ego, we don't, it's, we think, oh, I'm better than, oh, I'm high and mighty. But ego is not only, feeling a strong sense of self, but it is also a woe is me kind of mentality as well. So, oh, I've been through all of this. I have weathered all these storms. So, because I've gone through so much, I think it was Jada Pinkett and Jay Shetty that I was listening to like a month or two back, and they articulated it so well that I'm not going to take away from that. But you can look up that video. I think it was about transcending the ego, but just it's not just, oh, I'm better than you, or I'm up here and you're down there, or I've got all of this, so I'm great and I'm grand. But it can also be, I've been through everything, and, or even sometimes, why is all of this happening to me? Me, I. So, again, I think this is a very appropriate topic at this time, and I want to talk about how it kind of weaved into my transformation and everything that was going through, the signs and synchronicities, the meditation, the awareness of my spiritual gifts, and accepting that as a practice. So let me slow down a little bit. I'm just getting off of work and I'm tired as heck. But I wanted to get this out. Like, I promised to have videos out for the month of March, to have at least two of the spiritual awakening or spiritual transformation episodes out for everyone. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish tonight and want to get it done. The next topic, definitely tune in, chime in, is social distancing. And that's something that I think I might be an expert at because it's my lifestyle. It's not necessarily something that's new for me. So I do want to, I want to chat with, I may even go live with that one to see what everyone is experiencing. I'd like to hear from the extroverts and how this is affecting your lives. I did some readings. I did a reading, the general readings, even for the Leos, and it was like they in their social sector, like, or excuse me, in their financial sector, they weren't able to get out and network at this time. And so that was making them feel restricted and at a loss. And so I really would like to hear from everyone in terms of how the social distancing is affecting you. But that's next episode. Should be recorded in the next day or two, because I'm going to just try to run these consecutively so I can be on time with my episodes. But let's get back to today's topic. So, transcending the ego. What did I go through? What did I experience? I had major losses, right? I talked about that in the detachment episode, where a lot of loved ones, my work, my home that I had worked hard to obtain, that all had to be lost. And in that period of time when I was losing, or when I was detaching from, or when I was experiencing this transformation, I was also shedding my ego. Okay. Not just my ego of, I work so hard, I work 2 jobs, I'm a go-getter, I have this hustle mentality, nothing can stop me. I wasn't only shedding that, but I was also shedding, why does all of this keep happening to me? Why have I had such a rough life? Why must I go through some of the hardest lessons in life? Who is this for? Because it can't be for me. Like, all of those wounds were being exposed, and I had to answer to myself. I had to get over myself. I had to realize that I was a part of the divine collective, and that the experiences that I was having was not just for myself, but for me to tell this story for someone else who's also experiencing the same. Now, fast forward, and I realized that a lot of what I experienced was for this moment. Okay, it doesn't make me invincible. It doesn't make it mean that I won't have the same experiences, or maybe have to have some major changes in life due to what we're experiencing now, just because I've already gone through all of that. Because I don't want to sound insensitive to what many are experiencing, which is, the loss of employment, or even the delay in being able to go out and make money. So your businesses are closed, or you're, late on payments on certain things. All of that may be affecting you, especially if you're someone who's used to being on time with everything, like, and not having to make all of these arrangements for everything. Like, I feel like you're experiencing what I had to go through. Just a few months back, I want to say about 7 months ago, I was experiencing these conversations of, how am I going to pay this? And, when I was used to being on top of everything, it wasn't making a whole lot of sense to me. And I think that there are a lot of people out there who, even though this event was completely out of your control, feel like, what could I have done to prepare for this moment? Right. And that is a lot of what that fear and panic, and everybody, is making jokes about the toilet paper running out, but it was a way for people to control what is happening in their environment. They like seriously feel like, oh, if I have enough toilet paper in my home, then I'm properly prepared. So it's amazing what you experience when you're going through the spiritual transformation. Now, I'm speaking to those of you who have been called, who you have received signs from the angels, who are doing your research, who are being asked by the heavens, by the source, whatever that is for you, the universe, God, to use your gifts in this time right now. So I'm speaking to those of you who have who have gotten the call, okay? Because that's what this is about right now. And it's very hard to articulate that to those who are not experiencing a spiritual transformation. Forget about it, spiritual transformation, forget about it. For those of you who are traditional Christian Baptists, and getting back to the basics of prayer, of getting back to getting down on your actual knees, and laying out on your face and fasting for days on end until you hear God's voice speak to you and tell you what your instruction is. That's who I'm speaking to right now. Those of us who are tuned in, who know that there is something greater than us, who know that this is not just a physical 3D experience, but this is also spiritual warfare. And that if you're not prepared, if you are so focused on yourself, then you are not going to get through this experience with ease. But if you are capable to quiet your mind long enough and listen to the sound and still voice of God and hear him call out to you and hear him ask you to put yourself aside and think about someone else for just a moment, okay? Really, all of us, if we stop and start thinking about everyone, obviously we don't know everyone's name, we don't know everyone's location, but don't just pray for your loved ones. Don't just pray for your extended family members. Don't just pray for that cousin that you got into a fight with 2 years ago and you haven't spoke to since. No, pray for India. Pray for Europe. Pray for Asia. Include everyone. Transcend your ego. Get over yourself. This is not just happening to you. This is a tough love message, okay? And I hate to be so blunt and direct, but I have to speak it this way because like going back to what I was saying at the beginning with the empaths and what we're experiencing. So for myself, I'm just going to talk about me because although I'm tuned into the collective and I know that there are others out there that are experiencing what I'm experiencing, I'm just going to talk about me. I work in the emergency department, and there is fear and panic amongst the employees, amongst the caretakers for everyone who's out there doing the work. We're on the front lines, okay? We are in the room with that patient. We are without proper equipment to protect ourselves, so putting ourselves at risk, right? Then you come out of that room and your fear and your panic and your worry is some are internalizing it, but as an empath you can pick up that energy of that internalized fear and panic and worry. Others are completely voicing how they feel. Others you can see can't sit still. They're constantly moving when ordinarily they might just be hanging out, but they're constantly cleaning and putting away and filing or whatever the case might be. I'm in an administrative position, so a part of my role is to be that shoulder for my counterparts, okay? And people are coming to me with their concerns and what they think should be done, and I can just hear, the enemy attacking them in their mind and in their hearts. And it started to get to me. Not the fear and the panic, because I know better than that, but my frustration was, where's your faith? Why aren't you looking at this through your third eye with your spiritual being? Why aren't you seeing that, yes, this is a difficult time that we are all experiencing. It's not just you. I appreciate and respect that you have this concern for yourselves, but now is the time that God is calling us. Calling. I don't want to get emotional, but he is calling all of us to stop thinking about ourselves and transcend our egos. So that's my message about that. I'm not going to stay very long with this message. I just wanted to speak very briefly about it because I had to go away. I had to go off to my happy place and get centered before I could even put this episode out. And like I said, I tried doing research and material, and I wanted to be so, sophisticated about the delivery. But when it just came down to it, I just wanted to have this tough love conversation with everyone and tell you that a lot of people are trying to mask it with jokes and all of that. And there's a lot of social media. I've withdrawn from social media again. What I didn't tell you in the detachment video, for those of you who don't know me in person, is that for 6 months, I completely deactivated my Facebook so that I could withdraw myself from all of the energy there, because as much as I love the people on my Facebook, because majority of them are family and friends that I grew up with and I've known, there are only a few that I haven't actually sat down on their couch or slept on their couch and ate their food, that are actual friends of mine. There's just, I could probably count on 2 hands. There's 10 people probably that I don't know in that way. So I love everybody there on Facebook, wholeheartedly, genuinely. But they have their bad days and they have their good days. And all of that energy was affecting my spiritual transformation, because social media is can be a addiction, and you get on every morning before you even start your day, and it was a distraction. So I shut it down, I deactivated, I let everybody know I would be away, and I started meditating every morning. Okay. I started taking time out to pray every morning. I started doing workout every morning, in place of. And now I went back so that I could launch this channel. And I found myself getting back into the habits of checking Facebook every day, getting back on in the mornings to see how everybody was doing. When I was absent from that, I would check like once a month to make sure that, because sadly, Facebook has come to the place where you're notified if a loved one has passed away. I would get on to make sure that, I hadn't lost anyone. But now I'm just on there, like I was in the past. So I went on my little hiatus, I took a little trip to my happy place in the woods, which I fully intend to move to in about 7 years. It's my plan, it's my goal. I'm putting it out there into the universe. And I've really centered myself. And I really, felt like this message didn't need to be as articulated as I had hoped for it to be, because it's an intricate topic, transcending the ego, and there's so many videos out there. So when you Google transcending the ego, or you search it in YouTube, you're going to get some very there'll be analysts that will have facts and everything about transcending the ego, which I highly encourage that you take in that content so that you can fully understand it, especially if you're more like of a logical, because I think that this message today is coming a little bit from my emotions, but I definitely wanted to express the urgency in this time. I may do a part 2 of Transcending the Ego when we're back on a more stable ground, but today's message needed to get out to those who are going through the spiritual transformation, who have been experiencing the signs, synchronicities, who have been meditating and connecting with their higher level of consciousness, who are fully aware, that let go of yourself. Let go of yourself in this moment. Transcend that ego. Okay? Get over yourself. That's my message. Love and light.